Alright, this is the test. Alright, this is the test. Testing again. Testing again. Alright, so, I want to go ahead and work on making a t-shirt design. And, the idea is for the front of the shirt to have this logo on the front. And, my idea is to kind of like build some illustrations in to this, like the black area of the logo. So, pretty much like the logo. So, my plan is just to kind of like work illustrations down into here. And all throughout this logo area here. So actually, I put together a mood board a while ago. I'm gonna open up a mood board really quick. If you don't know what a mood board is, it's pretty much just kind of the look and feel of the project that you want. So I'm going to put that together or open that up real quick. So let me open this up. Should be opening up in Acrobat. No, it's not opening up Acrobat. Uh-oh. Every once in a while, my like the programs, I gotta like open it up. Okay, so is this gonna open up? Just so that way you guys can kind of get like a feel of kind of like the style I'm going for. Okay, so I got that open. I'll open this up too. And do I need any more? I'll just open this up. Okay, so this is kind of like the look that I'm going for. Here, let me close this now. So this is sort of like the look that I'm going for. Let's make this a little bigger. So this is kind of like the overall mood. So this would be like target audience, kind of like where would this design live? Like who are the people that would use this design? So if this is a t-shirt, what type of people would be wearing this t-shirt? Where do they hang out? What does the furniture look like? Like different decor. So you can kind of see this is a t-shirt for a brewery. So you can kind of see this is like a bar atmosphere, people drinking, having a good time. These people here are having a real good time. Kind of like Bay Area, kind of like not really hipstery, but just kind of like this sort of feeling here. So these are like the people and the overall mood. So you look at this board and you have an idea of just, oh, I kind of understand the mood that this is for. And then what I've also done is like a style board. So this is more of like the actual like design style that I'm going for. What I've kind of figured is that I wanted to do like a kind of like a chalkboard art, because when you look at breweries, right, like they got these chalkboards everywhere, and that's how they do their menu, and people have a lot of fun with the designs, and it's not like anything perfect. It's like seriously just like chalkboard art, and if you mess up, it's fine, or if it's just kind of like very roughly done, that's the whole look and the aesthetic that like kind of surrounds this craft brewery sort of feel. So like you can see this sort of like artwork style here in my mood board. You can kind of see a little bit right down in here. But when you look at these other pictures, you kind of know that this is all these places here would probably have some sort of chalkboard. You can even kind of see it in the background here, and It looks like they might have some sort of cool like artwork on the ceiling here as well, so that's cool. So really fun, really kind of DIY, kind of plays into the whole homebrew sort of craftiness of the craft beer industry. So that's kind of what I thought was interesting, and that's kind of like the concept that I pulled from this is this sort of style, like very sort of like artisan, very sort of handmade, really cool. And then, but there is there is some sense of refinement to it as well. So like if you see here in the bigger picture, it kind of follows the same sort of style as all these other ones that you can obviously tell. Like in here, there's some texture into this life that moves pretty fast. There's some texture in that. And you can tell this is just probably some sort of scan, or maybe they did it in Photoshop with some special brush. But the way that they use typography and these little design elements, like this arrow here and the different lines, it's all reflected in this design here. But this one's a little bit more refined. You can tell that they did this in Illustrator with strokes, and it's all kind of pixel perfect, but still very sort of handmade and sort of fun. So this is kind of like the direction I'm headed, and I want to do. So that's sort of what I'm doing, and that's my goal for this. And here, let me see if I can get this to work again. I want this to fit 100%. I don't know why I still got to zoom, but okay. So that's that. There we go. So I'm going to kind of just keep this off to the side a little bit, and then we will get working. All right, so what I want to do first is I got this logo here, right? I'm going to just, so I want this to be kind of illustrative, and I want it to be kind of representative of like the hometown, and also of sort of craft beer in general, and kind of wrap it all together. Because with craft beer, it's a very community focused industry. I've been watching documentaries, and I've kind of interviewed this brewery a little bit as well, and you really get a sense that everyone likes to work together. It's all about like community. Community is like a big word when you think of craft beer and local beer in general. So I got this logo. I'm going to knock this back a little bit, probably to like 10 there. Okay. Just lock that layer so we don't accidentally move it. And then what I have is I got a whole bunch of pictures that I put together. I got pictures relating to beer, and this is just sort of like different glasses from different angles. So I'm not the best illustrator when it comes to just thinking of something and then going for it. I need to kind of have some sort of like photograph or some sort of reference art, so that way I can kind of trace over it, get all the perspective right. So that's what I want to do. I wanted to kind of incorporate beer, sort of like images of downtown, and then it's Bay Area, so it's hard to have some sort of Bay Area company without referring to the Bay Area in some form or fashion. So I think that the Bay Bridge would look really good inside of these very rectangular and angular shapes of the logo, and then also just some hills to kind of tie it all together, bring it all together, and sort of fill in some empty spaces we may have. So we might need more stuff. This is kind of the stuff that I just thought of off the top of my head. I also was thinking it'd be kind of cool to incorporate some of the letters, or not letters, the names of beer that they have, and then maybe just kind of have those hidden in there and as little gems that people would find closer. But we can't have this be too detailed, because it is going to be a t-shirt. And then just kind of like how t-shirts work, it has to be pretty like if you do any like strokes or anything like that, they can't be too thin, because that just won't print well. So alright, let's see, where should I start? Alright, before we start throwing in some pictures, I think it'd be a good idea just to kind of sketch some things out. So maybe I should have done that first, and then we can do that. So let me plug in my tablet here. Move this to the side. All right, and I think this is gonna be what's going on. I thought my pen was just working for the one screen. I have the pen gets messed up sometimes if you have two screens, and it throws me off, like the sensitivity of it and everything. So let's see if I can get this fixed. All right, touch settings. I think I actually need to use Apple settings for this. So let's open this up. It's over here. Keyboard, mouse, ink. No, is that it? Oh, here it is. Wacom tablet. All right. Pen options. No. On-screen controls. Oh, it's mapping. Okay. The pen is just for monitor 1. Why is it not doing that? Oh, now. Oh, I guess it just had to load. Okay, that's weird. But so the touch screen, like if you use your finger on this, it goes over. Well, never mind. I'm gonna bore you guys with this. Okay. So we got it worked out. Just guess it just needed to load. All right. So what do we got? I think we should start with the brush. I'm gonna turn off touch. Wait, no, it's not working. It's not working again. What the heck? Oh my goodness. Okay, this tablet's starting to be an issue. Where's my mouse? Whatever, we're just gonna have to make it work. Alright, so let's get a brush. This is the one I want. I don't need anything fancy, I just want to get the idea down. We'll just do hard round. Bring the size down a little bit. Don't need smoothing. Maybe a little bit. Okay, cool. Delete that. Let's do bring the opacity down on that a little bit. Okay. So let's see. What do I want to do? I'm thinking this might be like a good area to put the beer glass. Like I had a beer glass right here, so maybe if I did oh my gosh, my tablet keeps getting mapped to like the different screen by accident. So let's see. If somehow there was like the beer glass like right here. This is just going to be very rough. Like I said, not the best illustrator, and especially when I'm trying to do it on the tablet. Like when I do any sort of illustration on the tablet, it's got to be like very, very up close. And let's see, how do these beer glasses look? It kind of like starts thin and then it kind of goes out. But I think it would be kind of cool to kind of have any sort of like illustrations, maybe like go outside of this shape a little bit here. So maybe if it like started there, and then how did it go again? No, it goes in and then it kind of goes out. Whatever. We're gonna use those later on. This is just kind of to get the idea. Alright, so my plan is to kind of do this in Photoshop really kind of roughly. And then once I have it done in Photoshop, I will bring it. So my plan is to do like a rough illustration like this right now, just to kind of see where things could fit well. And then I'll bring like these images in and then get the proportions really refined and kind of do like a really weird sort of like montage collage sort of look. And then once that's done, still gonna look very sort of like craftsy, very scrapbooky, then I'll come through with the pen, do a more kind of finalized sketch, and then go through that again, and then really make the line work look pretty nice. And then I'll take that line work and bring it into Illustrator and then vectorize it, so that way we can use these for shirts. So that's the plan. Oh my goodness. Sorry if it's like totally, I don't know what's going on. I'm going to have to figure out these settings for the next stream. So what's happening is my drawing tablet, I have it set so that way I can use the entire width of the drawing tablet just for this one screen. Otherwise, it's going to want the whole tablet to be for both of my screens that I got next to each other. And it's too hard to use it when it's for both screens, I think. So I have it just set for the one. But what's happening is that it's like going back and forth between being for one screen and being for two screens. So I'll like start drawing at one spot, and then instead of being like in the middle of this screen, it'll be like in the middle of the other screen. So it's just kind of frustrating. If it was just one or the other, I could probably get used to it, but the fact that it's going back and forth is probably a little bit too much. Alright, so then if I have that glass there, that could be kind of there. Let's see, do I want it to be like a physical scene, or do I want it to be kind of just kind of like very fun, kind of playfully placed, I guess? I think that would be more kind of the feel that I'm going for, just kind of playfully placed. So meaning like this glass wouldn't normally be tilted like this. Maybe I could have like a hand come through, but I don't want to draw hands. Hands are hard to draw. So maybe if I had that there, and then some sort of tap up here somewhere. How would the tap work? What? So how would the beer work? Like if I'm thinking of like some sort of flow for the beer. Like if the tap was up here somewhere, let's turn this down. The tap was up here somewhere, and then like came down, hit this. I want to like put some sort of swirl into it. So maybe if the tap was like right here somewhere, and then came down, it could kind of swirl into the glass that way. And that might work if like the tap was here, and then it kind of like went up this way. Maybe there's some big handle there, but then the handle would have to be tipped back somehow. So, oh no, that'll work. Okay, so I got an idea. Want the other lasso tool? So this isn't working at all. delete that. Okay, so now I want the tap to be kind of, let's see how do these things look. They all look different. I want it to be eventually the one that they actually use. It's pretty much just like this pipe thing. Okay, so kind of goes like this. Very sort of like rectangular-y. Like I said, very, very rough. This kind of goes like that, and then since... Oh wait, no, taps go the other way, huh? Duh. So what my thought is that when this thing here... let's see, how does that go again? The tap kind of goes outwards. Okay, so this is going to be really perfect. Okay, so the tap kind of goes like this. Okay, so that's that. And then this thing here comes up a little bit, I think. And then it kind of goes to the handle. So it kind of goes like that a little bit, and then it comes up. But then this, since these things are kind of get kind of big, I want it to go kind of high up here, because they have the really big ones, like the really big ones, you know, like really big wooden, has their logo all up and down it. So I want it to be kind of reminiscent of that. So you got that, and I think maybe this should be even a little bit wider. Ah, it's so hard to draw a straight line. Alright, so that's the plan. So then we got some sort of tap here, and the beer will kind of come out this way. Beer here, go into the glass kind of like stops there, and then this is just all glass. But then the beer comes kind of like here, and it kind of like floats around. And again, I got some photography to kind of see how water behaves and how water would behave kind of like this, and I'll get some actual images like this, and then I'll be able to copy it. But at the same time, it's all just what's it called, cartoony. It's gonna be kind of like very sort of line art, so it doesn't have to be photorealistic. It's just to kind of get the main shape down. But okay, so that's that, and then all of these little spaces here or over here, we'll find other things to do for that, like little small things. This is just to kind of get the main idea down, so that way I know if this idea is going to work out or not. Alright, so then that guy's there. I'm thinking that maybe each section will be kind of themed. Would it make sense to kind of have each section themed, or would it be better to kind of have it all integrated? I think integrated sounds better, but at the same time, it might be kind of random if... Not sure. Okay, so what else can I do for beer? I think it'd be cool to do like a beer flight. Like something like this. So how would that work? Let's see, I got my iMessage over here too, so I'm sending text back and forth. So I think it'd be cool to kind of have the like a beer flight over here in this section here. So if I did that, see, how could that work? Maybe if I did... something like this. You know, they kind of come down and they got like this little handle here. They all look different. Maybe a little too big. And I need to get the angle right too, so that way I can get the glasses in there. So let's start with the glasses, because I want the glasses to be kind of pretty straightforward. Alright, so I got one glass here. Thinking like another one back here. And they come in fours. Man, well, this is like super rough. Alright, so we got this guy here. This actually isn't looking too bad. So that's like that. I wonder if that can even go bigger. Maybe not too big. We need some room for the handle. Alright, so that's that. So how would this work? We need like this, roughly the size of the tray. And then we'll just work the handle in kind of like right here. And I am like embarrassing myself with how bad this looks. Oh my gosh. I always tell myself it's going to come together at the very end, and 9 times out of 10 it always does, but it always surprises myself, and I feel kind of embarrassed to like use this towel here at this like the very early stages of this design, just because I know how bad it looks. I'm like, look at these cups. These cups have like no like solid line, and I feel bad like if somebody like if the client was to like watch this video and they'd be like, oh my god, this guy has no idea how to design. What are we doing? Why do we give him more money? But trust me, it all comes together at the end, and once you beautify things and an illustrator, it all ends up looking really good. That's where I shine as an illustrator. Here, it's just to get the concept down, and Photoshop's a little bit more forgiving than like a pen and paper, and so that's kind of why I use this. Let's see. Because it's nice to be able to just kind of come in here, be able to erase things or just command copy rather than try and figure this all out myself. Why is this so slow? I need smoothing on an eraser. So this is kind of where I'm at. I do, my process seems to work pretty good. I don't do too much illustration, but when I do this, I understand that I'm not the best illustrator in the world, so I just kind of wing it. And it always ends up working pretty good. I think even if you aren't a really good illustrator, it's still worth it to kind of try. Because it's something that you can just kind of get better at, and if you can add it to your skill set, that's even better. Alright, so we're working on these cups. These things have way too much of a bend, this top bend. It ends up just looking like some weird hourglass figure. But that's okay, we'll get the actual model and it'll look fine. And then this will just kind of... I like this idea of like... I mean, the whole point of this shirt is to show off the new logo, right? But simply just putting the logo on a t-shirt isn't that exciting. There's a lot more kind of creative solutions to that, and that's kind of what I'm hoping to achieve with this style, is a more creative solution to that problem. And I like the idea of these sort of like rough edges, meaning like the illustration bleeds out of the logo container itself. I mean, like even things like this, like the edge of the cup could, like if you come here, the edge of the cup could come out slightly. I mean, it is a little bit here, so that's what I want. I think that's really cool. That way you kind of get the implied shape, but it's not 100% real. I mean, like some things right here too, we're gonna have to worry about, like perspective. I think this is a little off right here. It's not so centered, like this distance and this distance. But that's okay. We'll figure it out. Here we'll figure out something to do there. Like I said, we'll just kind of work the details in a little bit. Let's save this actually. Shirt sketch 1 V1. So we don't lose this. All right, so we got a lot of stuff here for beer. I think we might be cool to do some sort of keg. Um, maybe those are the small elements. Maybe it deserves like a bigger element. Who knows? Let's see. How would a keg working out to all of this? Well, like I said, even if we just, I mean, I want to write the names of their beers here. So if I were to just like write one of the names here, just name here, and maybe like some sort of like little visual elements here, and maybe we just do like some sort of geometric design where we just like get our okay. Oh, okay. When you have a tablet, don't leave the pen on the tablet because that'll just screw up your mouse. Even just some sort of weird like geometric design where we do sort of things like this, and I mean, they don't necessarily mean anything. It'd be nicer if they meant something, but just shooting out ideas. That's what this whole thing is about, and that's way too high on the hierarchy anyway. So I think we'll get a couple big chunks in, and then we can think about some of the smaller things that we want to do. Okay, so we got the beer flight, this beer glass. What else can we do? Okay, oh, keg. Something like this work right here, actually. I mean, it doesn't make sense because I mean, like I said, everything's sort of out of proportion. It's all just kind of haphazardly placed around. But if we were to do something like that, and then actually let me bring this in really quick because I like that shape. I feel like it could work pretty much exactly in that spot. So. Or do I kind of lean it like that? Throw this here. And I like how those things kind of overlap as well. That's cool. So let me trace this really quick. I want to get the right hand side of this keg right on that edge of the logo. Oh, wrong file. I get it right there. Alright, so now I'll come through and I'll do the straight edges here with the mouse. If you do like the click shift with a tablet, you won't, it'll kind of feather, and I think it's just because I might have something clicked. I think it's this thing here that I have clicked. The always use pressure for size. But I mean, if it's just really easy to kind of switch over to the mouse to do it. And by shift clicking, you get straight lines from like the first click to the second click, rather than trying to freehand it. So I'm going to turn the smoothing up a little bit to get these round corners. Smoothing is a really cool new feature. It kind of guides the pen. Some other programs have had this for a while, but in Photoshop, it's a new feature, and I really like it. I can probably even turn it up a little bit more, but I don't. Let's see, what's 60 do? Yeah, 60 is a little bit too much. You have to be really patient with it. Let's see, I can probably turn this down for these inner pieces here. Alright, so then we'll come in here. That kind of got messed up. Okay. And let me know how you guys are. How's the audio working out? If you guys can hear me okay? Is that good? I have some music playing in the background. I don't have it playing directly through Twitch, so I just kind of have the speaker behind my mic, and I know that's not the best way to do it, but there is no free way for Macs to be able to play audio through like desktop audio that like OBS would normally use. So I am just kind of doing it this sort of way. You can still get a little bit of music, but like I said, and kind of like my test one I did earlier today, I really want to kind of get the feel for streaming before I start spending $100 on a program for the audio to be perfect. I'm going to turn the smoothing up a little bit more. Maybe 70 will be okay. That's nice. Okay. Cool, cool. See, isn't this so nice? This is like freaking awesome. I can imagine what Photoshop's going to have in like 10 years. It's going to be nuts. You're probably not going to have to do anything. It'll just say, make an illustration of this perfectly, and you'll have like a pixel perfect illustration. I mean, like right now we have filters and stuff, which are okay, but that's nothing compared to what I think that we'll have in 10 years. Alright, so let's delete these other lines here really quick. The nice part about this stage is instead of trying to get everything perfect and spending all your time on maybe like getting one line perfect, you're spending your whole time just kind of creating ideas. I mean, I can already tell this is going to be a really cool design. So, alright. Oh, wrong button. Alright, save. Okay, so we're actually blowing through this pretty quickly. So, okay, so what other things do we got? We got the keg. Maybe we could do a full bottle of beer right here. I have another file here that I kind of already got the shape of the bottle down. I took a picture of the actual bottle they used just to kind of make sure that everything's consistent, and that's again with like this little taster glass right here. They actually use that style glass for in their tasting room. So let's get this this bottle in here. Here, hold on one second. I'm just kind of getting the bottle shape. I have another file that I'm not sure if I should be showing you guys or not. It was a design that we ended up not using. So what I'm doing now is I actually had I had a design. I sent them 3 designs, and I needed to redo one of the designs because I don't think it wasn't because they didn't like it. I think it was just because it looked similar to something that they have seen that I didn't see. So that's cool. That's cool. I mean, the whole idea of sending people designs and getting feedback is so that way they like what you're making them, and if they've seen something they haven't seen, that's one of those good things that people can bring up. Because as much as I like do research and everything before a project, it's impossible to be able to find everything in the entire world and say that there's no design like this one anywhere in the entire world, because that's just not true. You can't do that. I'm actually gonna do like what people would consider design crime and warp this, because it is an illustration. It's not that big of a deal, but I want this to fit the shape kind of perfectly. Maybe not so much like that I was doing, but just so that way the top of this bottle kind of extends past the logo, because it's still very clearly a beer bottle, and I wanted to be able to have it take up this whole shape. Okay, so that's cool. I'll probably end up using the shape later on just because I already vectorized it and everything. But I just wanted to trace this in here so that way it's consistent and everything's the outline. No, I don't want that. Actually, you know what I could do? This is going to save me a lot of time. I can just click that. And then here, I can do brush, and I can just do right click, stroke, 5. That works. But I'm going to do, actually, yeah, if I do strike or stroke 4, and then I make this maybe like a gray, so that way visually it's not as overwhelming. That's okay, that works. Perfect. Cool. So that's there. And then maybe in the actual, like where the label of this beer would be, we can maybe put some sort of text, some sort of like little Easter egg sort of thing. I'm thinking this needs to be bigger. Okay. So now what do we got to do? What else do we got? We got a so we've done the beer. I'm looking at some other images that I can use. We've done the beer. Let's probably throw in some hills. The area that we live in is really popular for hills and these sort of wind turbines that are in the hills as a way to kind of collect energy. So I think that might be kind of cool, is to include something like that. And maybe that might kind of like live in this bottom right hand corner. There's also some cool images of the downtown area that I think would be really nice. Maybe something like this could kind of live in this section here. And then this building here too is really popular in the city. It's very iconic. I actually worked in this building for a little bit. Actually, it used to be the old like city hall, like way back when the city was founded. But now it's just kind of the local newspaper, and I got a part-time job there doing a kind of filling in for the graphic designer to make like ads and things like that. Nothing super cool. It was very kind of like very, like if that was the type of design that I was doing every single day, it would not be very satisfying at all. Very kind of boring, actually really boring kind of design, but it was a step in the right direction from like my first job. It was fun. Really laid back. I actually got to help design a magazine that they put out also, and kind of really revamp the whole magazine. Oh, also the flagpole too. Okay, so if I do this fountain, the whole fountain and flagpole thing kind of go together. If I do this fountain, where can I put the flagpole? Because I want to put the flagpole in there. If I do the fountain, I'm just thinking, if I do the fountain here, it would fit this area nicely, but I don't think that there would be too much room for the flagpole. If I did it from the other angle, maybe have that kind of wrap around, the fountain be here, and the flagpole kind of come up behind this area here. That could work. If I do, let me do that. I'm gonna bring this in. I guess I am kind of sketching this already, but I'm going to have to go through and really refine this later on. So we do the fountain here. And this is like a sketch, so it doesn't have to be like perfect again. So if I do that, I can kind of come in through here and this is me just doing the sketch with a mouse now. Let's see if this works any better. This is just water. It kind of can extend outside of the logo again. Oh, these actually come down a little. Oh, actually comes down a little bit. It does like this little lip, and like that, and then it comes back up, and then it'll come down and then go like that. Just like that, and then this will be kind of we'll just do a straight line. Oh. Alright, and then it would connect there. This connects here. That kind of does that lip, and then it kind of comes down. Oh, that was a bad angle. Okay. Alright, so there's the fountain. I actually think that these it actually comes out a little bit more like this. Okay, so some way too much time on this freaking fountain. Okay, so that's there. I don't know if I need to do all this other stuff behind it. That might be kind of confusing on a T-shirt, especially if this is like a one color. You don't really get that sense of depth. So I think if I just leave it simple as this, and then maybe if I were to come through with a like a circle and kind of map that out, that would work out well. Alright, so this will just kind of be representative of the little concrete area around it. So let's see, let's do this. Delete. Delete. Alright, so now we got a little area there with the fountain. And then maybe over here we'll add the flagpole over here. I think it might be kind of fun just kind of like have it be angled a little bit. And then we can have some sort of weird like I'm just trying to find a tool to make this easier. There we go, and we got the flag there. Actually, if I make this flagpole a little bit smaller, I can actually have a building or two behind it. So like if I have the flagpole like right that, and I can have this like that, and then this guy here can be a little bit thicker. Alright, so that's the flag. And we can add some buildings behind it. So, I mean, if you guys have any questions at all, just feel free to type them out in the chat. I'd be more than happy to kind of answer some questions. It looks like I got a couple viewers. So that's cool. How's it going? You guys feel free to type in the chat box. I'd love to kind of know if things are sounding good. So yeah. And actually, I mean, what can I put behind this fountain for it to make sense? I mean, it has this like this little structure around it with it, which I think in the city is just kind of is just as iconic as the fountain itself. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I really think that it wouldn't really translate well when you print it out. You never know though. I think it might be a good idea to kind of include it just for right now. In that case, I think it might make sense to make the whole thing smaller, but then I don't want to do that either. Let's see. I mean, that brings up another issue too, is that instead of like how all this stuff here is it's the whole item, right? And it doesn't really bleed off the edge, except for maybe this tap thing here, which kind of cuts off the edge. But nothing else is like a scene that gets cut off. It's all really things that just fall into place, and then things will work around it. Very free form, so that way we don't have to have any sort of like harsh edges at the end. But maybe that's not a bad thing. Alright, let's start. We'll just keep moving forward. We're hitting a roadblock and we can't let that happen. Alright, so this is the fountain. Maybe this will be a cool view of it instead. Like straight on with that thing to the back instead of like turned, angled. But I think I'm going to try and work on putting this building behind the fountain, actually. That'd be cool. Alright, so I kind of like it there. And then we'll work on putting this in right now. So, just very basic square building. Alright, so then we got that, and then there's like this cool little roof thing on the top, so that goes there. The roof thing again comes over here. This kind of extends out a little bit, who knows. There. There's like this other little underlying design, and all these sort of like horizontal layers make this building really cool. And then there's these buildings, or these windows here. Let's see if we can get this. We'll just copy that. Bring that over here. Same thing with these guys over here. We'll do that. Trying to get this angle here right. There we go. I think that looks okay. Stroke path. When you get like angles like that wrong, especially when there's other parallel lines, it looks really funky. Even at a rough sketch, I think that would kind of bother me. That comes down a little bit in size, and then we'll duplicate him as well. Kind of. Oh, I don't need to. That it goes beyond the design. Okay. So we'll merge all those guys together. And then here is a bigger door. So this door is actually come up to about like right there. Oh, whoa. They come up to about like right there. Maybe, there we go. Stroke path, delete. And so now we're actually really kind of starting to get the shape of this building. Okay, stop. And then there's like a little text here. These little guys here. And again, these are just small details that probably don't really matter too much at this point. But, you know, it'll make me feel better about my rough sketch. Alright, so now what's that look like without the image? Doesn't look like too much at all, does it? Alright. So then if I get rid of this stuff in here, we got a building in the background, which is kind of nice. We'll merge that into that, and then might be nice to have some sort of like perspective here. So maybe these are just some other buildings. Who knows? Okay, so just the idea of having buildings. I don't know if that's what the actual building over there looks like, but just the idea of having some buildings. So then we got buildings there. Maybe add another building over here. Who knows? I want to start working on the hills. I think it might be a good idea to kind of have the hills over here. Maybe we could do some sort of like hill vertically layered. And the idea of this is just to kind of build the windmills up too. What do those look like? It'll look weird to have multiple, like, I think maybe 2 layers, or I like things in 3 though. These in 3. 3 layers of these things here. Working up to what? What is at the top of this? Maybe instead of like small little ones, it's just bigger. So maybe like 1 or 2 big ones, and then they get smaller and they get smaller, or yeah, I think that works. Or maybe just like 1 really big one up here, and then you just see a whole bunch of little tiny ones in the background. I think that works better actually. So if I bring this in, actually I really kind of like that there. If I were to, let's just delete all this here for now. I'll bring some more in a second. But that, okay, so that just kind of helps solve this idea. Okay, so that's going to go back here. Then this here. That's that. And then this guy here will go up here to here. Make this a little thicker. There to there. And from there to here, to there, to here, to here, to there, to here. And this guy's going to stick out a little bit. Okay, so that's cool. This guy goes here to there to here to there to there. And then again, things in 3. Maybe I'll do this. I'll do this guy a little bit off so that way I can just move him in a little bit. These things are really cool when you see them in person. I just went on a drive to Arizona this past weekend, and these things are actually really cool in Arizona because I didn't realize they had lights on them. I think that might be in like a new regulation or something like that. But I didn't realize they had lights on them. And driving back, we drove through LA, and I didn't realize that these things were all off in the distance. I just saw this huge hill with all these flashing red dots. Like, man, what are those things? That guy there will kind of be in the background. Okay, cool. Maybe we had some sort of design for clouds too. I don't know how do t-shirt clouds work? I've never done like a cartoony cloud before. Or just an idea. Because I kind of like how this looks, you know, kind of like sunset. Really kind of cool looking. It also adds a little bit more kind of depth to the scene also, and which I was a little worried about doing at first, but I think it might be an important way to kind of try and figure that out. Maybe this is a 2-color shirt. Initially, I kind of had in mind that this would just kind of be like one color because traditionally with t-shirts, you don't want to do too many colors because each color extra, depending on your printing method, is more money. Silk screening is kind of like the normal way you would think to print a t-shirt, but I think the technology lately can actually do inkjet printing for t-shirts, and granted it's for limited quantities, but this client isn't going to need a whole lot, like at least in one order. It's not like they're ordering 10,000 shirts at once. It'll be kind of in the hundreds. So okay, so we got those there, and I think that actually just sells the point. I don't think we need to do multiple layers at this point. That works as is. So that's that. I think we need some big elements because here we got some really big elements here, and then we're getting smaller as we get to the side. Very small and very detailed. So I think it might be a good idea to throw in a big element or two. I would still like to do the Golden Gate Bridge, so let's see, how can we do the Golden Gate Bridge so that way it's it works. Okay, so I'm going to do this. I'm going to bring this, since it's the same angle and everything. I'm going to bring this, and I'm going to move it over here. Nope. I'm going to move these guys over here. Boom. Alright, and now what we're going to do is we're going to, I think, maybe this angle will work. I'm not sure. I think this is more of like a traditional angle, but at the same time, I think this might work too. I'm curious. I think this one here might work. Let's try this. It's not the typical view you think of when you see the Golden Gate Bridge, but I think with the right kind of like simplicity, we can make it work. I like this one here because you can let this stick out a little bit. this actually is going to look pretty cool. So we have Livermore here, or we got like, yeah, our main city here in the forefront, and then kind of like in the background we'll have San Francisco. And I'm going to get rid of this flag actually. I think this flag is getting to be a little distracting. As much as I like it, I think it might either be suited better elsewhere or just not at all. What I'm going to do is actually I'm just going to make this small and throw this on top of this building, because in the actual photo they had a flag on the building. See? Recycled it. And I'll just fix these really quick here. That, there, here to here. And here to here. Cool. And then, and now, we gotta tackle this beast of the Golden Gate. So although the cityscape over here is like there, this is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna take that there. And these guys here, I'm gonna kind of bring all this over here. So now what I got is I got like a cool shape that's custom and I can use it for my sketch. Cool. And again, this is just kind of illustrating an idea, so I think I'm just going to kind of leave this for now, so that way I'm not sketching all of this and kind of wasting some time. So okay, so we got the bridge here. And I think even this will kind of like extend kind of like out towards here. And then this guy here will kind of like extend out towards this way. And the road goes there, and then this guy here will go there, and then this one goes here. And all these sort of lines here, and again this line here. Okay, so that's going to kind of extend here, and that's like a nice, really big element, so that's nice. This here, I'm actually going to just get rid of the top of this, so that way I kind of get the feeling of how this is going to look when it's cut out. so that's cool. Cool. Alright, so now we got a couple more things that we need to do. We gotta figure out what to do with some of this empty space and find something to put in this bottom right hand corner. We already got the beer pouring. We got the keg. Is it weird just to put another keg? I don't feel like that's very creative, but at the same time I feel like that's kind of what I'm leaning towards at the moment. Unless I can think of something else. What else? I mean, we got the hills. There's a lot of wine in this area, but since it's for a brewery, it doesn't make sense to put wine or vineyards. Downtown, do we have everything for downtown? I think so. Nope. Let's see. I'm kind of looking to see what else I have from them, so that way I can see what I can do. Maybe like a growler? Would a growler work? But then it would be, I mean, like in order to kind of fill the space, it would have to be fairly big, and I don't want the growler to be bigger than this keg, but maybe that makes sense too. Because the keg is already smaller than the taster glasses, and that doesn't make sense, but I mean, let's see what else can I think of. You know what? I'm gonna think about it for a little bit, and in a future stream, I'm gonna come through and work on this some more. Hopefully, I'll have the sketch a little bit more refined by then, and then we can actually just work on vectoring it, because I think that's at least a little bit more exciting than me just kind of sitting here brainstorming the whole thing. So I think I'm gonna leave it at this. I think we actually made some really good progress on this. I made a lot more progress than I thought I would. So this is kind of where we're at. I'm gonna, like I said, I'm gonna make this a little bit more finalized, and then we can really start. It's gonna start coming together a lot more once the sketch gets finalized, and once this starts getting pulled into Illustrator. Even at the point when it's ready to get brought into Illustrator, it's gonna look really good. So I'm hoping to have that done by the next time I do a stream. So anyways, yeah, thanks for watching. Hopefully you guys kind of like this this sort of laid back kind of chill feel for streaming. This is kind of really what I want to do with this channel. Yeah, I really don't have a schedule yet. I think that's something I should probably work on doing, but until then, it's just gonna be kind of really sporadic. It's gonna be kind of like a stream here, just kind of random parts of the day. Maybe I'll do it at like 8 a.m. Maybe I'll do it at 8 p.m. and it's just, maybe I'll do a stream for 10 minutes. I'll do it for 2 hours. Who knows? And who knows if I'm even going to use the same project. There's another project that I kind of started, and I want to work on that as well. But this is like a real world project, so I need to get this done first. Anyways, thanks for tuning in. If you guys like this, make sure to hit the follow button, so that way you guys get notifications whenever I go live. Anyways, thanks again, and I'll see you in the next stream.